Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 353. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, where I sell my handspun yarn and patterns. Hi, how are you? It is Monday, November 8th. I can hardly believe we're already one full week into November. Feels like the end of the year is coming at a breakneck pace, and I am rushing around trying to get everything done, both for work and personally, and planning for the holidays. So, how are you? I hope that you're doing well. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Mine has been very productive. I got lots of projects done. I have a few more things I would really like to get done before we leave on some travels. And then, of course, I will be bringing knitting with me, so lots to come there as well. This actually will be my last podcast for a few weeks. My next podcast will be Monday, November 29th. I know that feels like a really long ways away, but I will actually be in the car driving for the next 2 Mondays, and so it just won't be possible for me to record. If you are interested in where I'm going and what I'm up to, I will be posting on Instagram. I, of course, will still be knitting. I will be finishing up my Nanny Swaymo sweater, I hope. And lots of adventures to come, but I just won't be at home and able to record as I normally do. I will be taking my laptop with me because I will be working for part of the trip, and so I may pop in and throw up a little something next week, but we'll see how that goes. So I hope that you're doing well. Let's jump into tea and knitting and spinning and chat about what I've been up to. So today I am drinking an orange blossom oolong from a shop called Brits, which is a local shop. This is tea that I got on the Yarn Crawl this year. There is a British shop in Lawrence, Kansas that sells all things British, including tea and cookies and other imported delights. And so I shopped there while we were on the Yarn Crawl. It is across the street from the Yarn Barn in Kansas. And this, like I said, is an orange blossom oolong. Well, oolongs tend to be a little smoky, and I love orange flavored teas. So I'm trying that today. And this is a mug from Always Azul Pottery. That is a potter who comes to our local Renaissance Festival, which I haven't been to in years. But I often try to buy something from them when I see them. And so this was a beautiful mug in blues. It's heavy and ceramic and just perfect for a chilly day. Ooh, that's good. It actually isn't that chilly today. It's been in the 50s and 60s this weekend, but we are going to get down towards the 40s towards the end of the week. So the final thing to talk about is what I am wearing. I pulled this one out of my collection of hand knits. I have a bureau or a chest of drawers in my bedroom that holds a lot of my knits, but of course it doesn't hold everything because I tend to knit a lot. And so I went to the bin with my overflow knits to pick out something that I hadn't worn in a while today. This is the Osawatomie, Osawatomie or Potawatomi? I'll have to put it in the project notes. This is a poncho designed by Carol Sunday of Sunday Knits, and I bought it in a kit. I think it's the Potawatomi poncho. It is a fun poncho with a sort of half ribbed neckline, and then it's got this great cable panel, a couple different cables, and then it's got fringe. And I knit it in her, I can't remember what the yarn was, but it is merino, and it feels like it has a little bit of cashmere in it. I can't remember whether it does, whether it's just a super soft merino or whether it does have some cashmere, and it is just delightful, and it's perfect for today. Just a little bit of chill, not too much, but I'm enjoying it. It looks like next week while we're in Arizona, it may be in the 80s, so I need to enjoy my fall weather while I can. So let's talk about the knits. I have a lot of little finishes this week and a bunch of other things in progress. So the first finish is actually not so little, but I didn't have that much to go on it. And this is a charity blanket that I started, I think, at the very beginning of summer. I have knit one of these before. It is called, I think, Catch the Waves. It is a pattern by Yarnspirations, which are the people behind the Caron Big Cakes. I actually got got it off of the side of a Caron Big Cake. It is basically a 2-row repeat that creates a chevron blanket. And what I did is I took 3 skeins of, now I have to think about this, Stylecraft DK. It is an 100% DK weight acrylic yarn. The first time I bought it was part of the crochet blanket kits that I did for my niece and nephew last year. But I had a few skeins left over, and then Love Crafts actually sells the brand as well. It is an extremely affordable 100% acrylic yarn, and I will tell you that there are places for each and every yarn. What I am doing is I am crafting several blankets that we are going to donate to Project Linus, which is a charity here in the US that works on getting children who are hospitalized blankets that they can cuddle with and carry with them throughout their treatments. And the reason that acrylic is the best for it is because these are children who often have cancer and other illnesses that keep them within the hospital. They are often immunocompromised, and the blankets need to be able to go through the sanitizing and sterilizing services at the hospital. So they are washed under high heat with not gentle cleansers, and so it is one of the cases where acrylic actually holds up better than anything else. Wool eventually just breaks down. So I am calling this one kind of my orange or my 50-50 bar. Basically, I picked 3. One of these was apricot, one of these was peach, and then I think one of these was like a blush color. I want to say maybe this end one was peach, and then the middle was blush, and then the last was like neon tangerine or something. Anyway, it is a chevron blanket where I just did overlapping areas. I wasn't too, you can see one section overlaps more than the other. I was a little overzealous in starting early. I wasn't keeping track. I was just kind of going at my own pace. So I like these blankets. They come out about 36 by 36 or 40 by 40, and they are perfect for exactly what I wanted them for. I did a pink one earlier in the year, and actually I have one that is not this pattern, that is just a plain garter stitch pattern that is with the Caron Big Cakes. So I have 3 blankets to donate, and my husband is working on his own to donate for his charity work effort towards his sabbatical, and so we will be donating those probably at the end of November, but I am glad that it's done. I am going to run mine through the washing machine, even though I'm sure that they will do that once I give the blanket to them, so I'm not too concerned about that. Anyway, so that is a finished project. It was 330 yards times 3 skeins, so all to hold around 1,000 yards in this blanket. And like I said, it is really economical. I want to say that Stylecraft DK retails for under $3 a ball, or it might be like $3.19, but I want to say it was like $2.99 a ball, $2.39 a ball. I mean, really, really wonderful. So if you have projects where acrylics seem like the best bet, it is also super soft. It does not feel plasticky like the acrylics of old, so I can definitely recommend that. So the second project that I cast on and finished this week are slippers for the kids. And these are the Simple Garter Stitch Slippers by Hannah, and I cannot pronounce her last name. It looks like Levonomy, I think, but I'm sure that's not how it is pronounced. I will put a link in the show notes, which you can find on my blog. And she wrote a pattern for Simple Garter Stitch Slippers. She wrote it for adult sizes, so I actually usually end up having to convert it to kind of make it child sizes. I do regularly have the children trace their feet and send them to me so that I know exactly how long and wide their feet are, and I sort of work from those measurements. The pattern itself, like I said, is a garter stitch pattern. And it calls for fingering weight yarn to be held doubled. So I have 2 sets. The first are Roxy's, and I held together, I think I showed the beginning of this last week. I held together 2 colors from Mountain Colors yarn. It was, I can't remember which base it was, but it was, it's not their Barefoot because it did not have the mohair in it. It is a wool and nylon blend, a 90% wool, superwash merino, and 10% nylon, and I held them together and then So you can knit the slipper flat, or if you choose to, like I did, you can do a Judy's Magic cast on at the back of the heel, and then you knit it flat and you do some decreases around the toe, and then she has you with a very simple crochet stitch kind of stitch up part way up the slipper, and then you can kind of go around and give it a loop around the back of the foot. So, and then when my grandmother made slippers for us as a kid, she always put pom-poms on them. And so I always put pom-poms on the ones for the kids. So this is, these are Roxy slippers. And so I have finished those. So those will be going to her for the holidays. Oops, that's the wrong way. Haha. So those match for her. And then I also have a set for Miles. And for Miles, I used one of the yarns from Mountain Colors, and then I used another blue yarn that I had in the stash, and I made his just ever so slightly smaller, although the pom-poms are the same size, so the pom-poms are practically bigger than the slippers. It's just that gorgeous blue, but those are for him. So I'm going to photo these and get these ready for Thanksgiving, when we will likely be seeing them, and I will be delivering them. So next up on my needles is a small project that I started this week. I think I talked about it last week, that I was going to. Someone that I work with at the Chicken Studio, which is the City Girl Farm, where I help knit pieces for chicken art pieces. They are technically footstools, but I work for them. And one of the women that I work with is expecting her first. And we all work in handicrafts and felting, knitting, spinning, all of those kinds of things. And so even though I don't know her super well, I decided that I wanted to make her a little something to welcome her baby girl. So I decided that I wanted to make a bonnet and some booties, and I am just about done with the bonnet. This is the Beloved Bonnet by Tin Can Knits. It is not a free pattern, but it is very affordable, and it is incredibly well written and can make anything from newborn size all the way up to adult. I decided to make somewhere across between the newborn and the baby size, mostly because I was a little afraid that if I just made the newborn and she ends up being a little bit big, that she may not be able to wear it for that long. And my hope is my coworker is due at the beginning of December, and so my hope was that this bonnet would last, December, January, February, kind of getting them through the winter months. So what I did is I sort of sized between. It was a number of repeats and I sized it right between. And this pattern is really easy and really adjustable. It is created with short rows, and you kind of keep going until you have the stitch counts that you want. And then you sort of reverse engineer back down. So you can see this is the bonnet. It is super, super cute. And you can see I am almost done. I just have the last little set on this side and then the I-cord. It is all one piece worked, like I said, through the magic of short rows, and so it just needs a good blocking and then it will be done. Now I do hope to knit a small pair of socks or booties this week. I think I'm going to use one of the other Tin Can Knits patterns, possibly their rye socks, and probably will do the same thing, knit between like a newborn and a baby size, so they have some socks to go with. So this is just a fun little gift for a friend. I'll put all the links in the show notes. You likely won't see this again because I will be dropping this off at the end of the week, because I won't see my coworker again until, well, I probably won't see her again for a while, because she is basically, from Thanksgiving, she's going to start maternity leave, and so I wanted to drop it off before then, which means it's got to be this week. So that is what I'm working on. I will post finished pictures on my Instagram, so you can see what it turns out like. But again, this is the Beloved Bonnet by Tin Can Knits. I knit it roughly per pattern, slightly adjusting for the sizes that I want, and the yarn that I am using is Treasure Goddess. It is her DK Treasures. She is a wonderful friend of mine and an indie dyer, and this is in her Song of the Sirens colorway, which is kind of this beautiful purple, burgundy, magenta. Well, it's not a magenta. I guess it's like a cross between a purple and burgundy, and I absolutely love it. I have another sweater quantity to make a sweater for myself, but I had this one Lonely Skein that was of a different dye lot, so I thought it would be perfect for the Beloved hat and some socks. So that is, I'll be working on that this week and hoping to finish it. The only other thing on my holiday list that I hope to finish before I leave is mittens. Miles needs a new set of mittens this year, so I am working on those. I actually started them, but I did not bring them. I might be ripping them out. I am going to be knitting the world's simplest mittens by Tin Can Knits, and I don't know if you remember, but earlier in the summer, I showed a hat and scarf that I knit for him, and I held multiple fingering weight yarns together. I believe it was 4 strands, and it created a super bulky, heavy fabric. And what I haven't been able to decide is for the mittens precisely what I want to do. The World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits, I believe it's a free pattern, but if it's not, it is a wonderful pattern. It is written for sizes baby to adult mittens, and it is written for a variety of fiber weights. You can do anywhere between fingering, sport, DK, worsted, or chunky weight. And so I decided for the mittens that I would only hold 3 strands together, and I started it, but it feels kind of rough and chunky, and like it might be a little more effort to get your hands into those mittens. So I may actually rip it out and go back and just do 2 strands of fingering weight and make the like sport or DK weight size. So that is what I still, the baby bonnet, booties, and the mittens are the things that I still need to finish this week before I head out of town, along with I have a couple more skeins of chicken yarn to finish, and so I'm hoping to get all of those done before the end of the week, before we leave town, and then I will take everything else with me. So that brings me to the final knit that is on the needles. This is NaNeSueMo, National Knit a Sweater Month. And of course, I started knitting on a sweater last week. I have been using it sort of as the carrot and stick approach to getting all of the knits done that I need to get done, which is I work on all the things I need to be working on for quite a bit, and then towards the end of the evening, I pick up my sweater and work on it a little bit. And I am super pleased with the progress that I have made. I am making the Nydia, which is a cropped pullover by Vanessa Smith, and it has a beautiful textured pattern. And I am working it in Apothecary Fibers Delightful DK in the colorway At the Hearth, which is a warm, burnt orange, and I am loving the pattern. I actually separated for the sleeves not very long ago. I worked several rows past the sleeve separation last night, and then today I think I'm going to put it on waste yarn and try it on just to be sure that it fits the way I would like it to, but it is looking like a sweater. So this is the Nydia pullover, as I said. It is a knit in DK weight, and it has this fabulous textured pattern. I am alternating skeins to prevent color pooling. It has got wonderful details, including a 2x2 ribbed neckline, plus a lateral braid sort of between motifs before you work into the pattern. It does have short row shaping, so the back is higher than the front, and it is otherwise fairly simple raglan shaping. Once I got into this and wasn't doing the short row shaping, which was done in back and forth, it was much easier. Now it is a pretty simple knit, and I have several inches of just roundy at the same stitch count before I do some decrease rounds for waist shaping. The pattern itself is very, very cropped, and I am not going to make it quite as cropped, so I'm going to add a few inches to the body, and I'm going to add them in various sections. I'm going to add a little bit more before I start the waist decreases, and then I'm going to spread the waist decreases out just a little bit so that I just end up with more fabric before I get to the bottom. So this is what I have so far. Like I said, I'm going to try it on this evening, but it is super stretchy, so I'm pretty sure it is the right amount. I am knitting the third size, which is I believe a 39 inch, but excuse me, the pattern calls for 0 to negative ease, or I think 0 inches of ease to -2 inches, and I'm making right around the 39, which should give me between 0 and 1 inches of positive ease. I just didn't want it quite as tight, and I hope that that will be that will be suitable. So I'm going to try it on tonight, and hopefully everything will be going well, and then I will continue on, and my hope is that I will finish it while I am on my travels, although I will certainly share progress photos as I continue. So again, that is the Nydia pullover by Vanessa Smith. It is a pattern available on Ravelry and on Vanessa Smith's website. And again, I'm knitting it in Apothecary Fibers Delightful DK in the At the Hearth colorway. A quick note, I did receive, so when I bought this yarn, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do. When I bought this yarn, there were only 4 skeins in the shop, and technically I needed 5. And so I bought the 4 and figured I would either make some modifications to the sweater, or I would find something else to do. And I then was able to order a 5th skein directly from the dyer, and it arrived, and as is the case often with indie dyeing, it really doesn't match the other skeins. While these are very moody and layered and complex, it is somewhat flat. And so I still haven't decided. My options are, I have a contrasting skein in a bright, or not a bright, in a deep dark teal. And so I could do the bottom ribbing and the bottom of the sleeves in that deep dark teal and kind of make it match that way. I could go with 3/4 sleeves or short sleeves if I need to, or I could try to work in that other skein of orange into the sleeves, and I am already alternating skeins every round, so I could see if I could make that work. So stay tuned, because I don't know what I'll be doing. Always buy the amount of yarn you need, or have a good plan in place for what you're going to do if it's not the amount you need, because dye lots often don't match. So that is my final note. Gosh, I love this texture and I love this color. This is going to be a favorite sweater, I can tell already. So let me take a quick sip of tea, and then we'll move into spinning, and then I will be done. So, while I didn't technically finish this skein this week, I brought it. This is a skein that I finished last week and is in the shop now. And this is a skein of BFL that I purchased from Kumasi Fiber Arts. She is on Etsy. And I have been spinning lots of her braids lately. They are absolutely beautiful, fun color combinations, and really nice fibers. This is definitely a worsted to DK weight spin. It is about 235 yards, and her braids do not come named, so I have named it Ethereal. It is gray with hints of teal and purple, and it is just really, really nice. It's kind of a faded color. It reminds me of wintry days outdoors. So that is in the shop now if you are interested in maybe some thicker boot socks, or this would be, it's not super rough, but it is BFL, which is not as soft as merino, and so it would make really nice outerwear. Maybe a hat or mittens would be lovely with this. So this will be in the shop if you are interested. As I mentioned last week, my shop will be open until Friday, November 12th, Friday, November 12th, and then it will be closing for a week or two because I will be unable to ship while we are in and out of the house on a few different travels. So that is the braid that's in the fiber shop now. Another one that I am hoping to get up before I leave is this lovely fiber from John Arbin. This is their Viola top, which is a merino top, and it is very heathered. You can see I did not spin my bobbins in the same manner. There actually was a spin in between these two bobbins. Hopefully it will not be too off in terms of weight. But this is the John Arbin fiber it's the Viola top, which is a merino top in the black currant colorway, which I know has some red and some orange and some black in it. And it is lovely. It's going to be a very lovely semi-solid braid. And my hope is maybe to get to ply that tonight so that I can pop that in the shop by Wednesday or Thursday, keeping my fingers crossed. So that is what's going on there. What I am working on this week is a spin for a dear friend. She purchased fiber from another friend of ours to support her shop, but the friend who purchased doesn't actually spin, and so I offered to spin it up for her. This is Sparkle Pants Swirly Whirly by Art Club, artclub.etsy.com, and it is 4 ounces of merino and nylon sparkle, and I'm going to take it out of the bag so that you can see. It is a pale blue merino of a bunch of different colors. It's like an aqua and a pale sky blue and a white, and then it's got lots of stellina in it. I don't know if you can see, I can't, the monitor is blowing it out, but I don't know if you can see that there is, there you can. There is lots of sparkle in this, and this is going to be lovely, and I think my friend is going to use it as the yoke for a sweater. So I'm going to spin that for her this week and hopefully get that to her before the holidays. So that is what's going on here in my corner of the world. As I said, I hope you are doing well. You are crafting up a storm. You are getting ready for the holidays. You aren't too stressed out by the breakneck pace we are going at the end of the year. I don't normally skip several weeks, so I will miss you over these few weeks. I hope to pop in and maybe catch you briefly, or definitely keep you up to date on my Instagram feed, and to stay up to date with you via yours. I wish you, if I don't speak to you again before then, I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Despite the origins of the holiday here in the US, for me it is a time to gather with my family, and particularly given the events of the last 2 years, that is all that much more meaningful and sentimental this year, just because we haven't been able to gather, and I'm so thankful for all of the blessings that we have, that we are healthy, that we have been able to obtain vaccinations, that we have not gotten sick, and that we have kept our jobs and our livelihoods, that the children are back in school, and just that we are here to enjoy each other again at the end of the year. I am thankful for you who continue to support and watch my podcast and leave me lovely comments, and I wish you a wonderful season full of food and laughter, and hopefully a little bit of family, and I will talk to you again towards the end of November. I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.